Yeah, I mean, if they end up DFA'ing him, they would owe him $30 million over the next 2 years.
Joining us for the first time on FT, it's Chris Kirschner. He writes for The Athletic. Chris, first off, great to have you on. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Really good. So I enjoyed the article and felt like it was really necessary because baseball gets pretty complicated sometimes. So some people are like, oh, the Yankees doing something shady to keep Jasson Dominguez down in the minor leagues right now. Can you describe a little Cliff Notes version of what you put in the article that helped to kind of ease some tension from fans at least?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely thought that there was some shady business going on myself, honestly, with Jasson Dominguez, because when I saw the Yankees make the roster moves they did on September 1st, and it was Duke Ellis instead of Jasson Dominguez, it was like, huh? Like, what's going on here? But after talking to some people, there doesn't seem to be any sort of benefit for the Yankees to be manipulating Jasson's service time. So he's ineligible for the PPI pick that the Orioles and the Diamondbacks had with Gunnar Henderson and Corbin Carroll winning Rookie of the Year. Dominguez started the season on the Major League Baseball injured list, and he has over 100 days of service time already. So with the PPI pick, the way to get it is a rookie has to have less than 60 days of service time, but Dominguez, because he's over 100 days, he does not qualify. So even if he ends up winning Rookie of the Year, and by Major League Baseball's rules, he is still a rookie because he hasn't spent 45 days on the active roster. You know, obviously he spent more time on the injured list, but he hasn't spent 45 days on the active roster. He has fewer than 130 career at-bats, so he is a rookie, but he doesn't qualify for that pick. So even though if he wins Rookie of the Year next year, the Yankees don't benefit in any tangible way. It's only a status symbol, essentially, for the organization rather than getting that conditional first-round pick.
Does he make this team better? We got rid of nothing nefarious is going on here, no Yankee conspiracy, anything. Does he make this team better based on how they're playing right now and how the team is constructed going through September and October?
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the opinion that Dominguez is one of their best position players. Obviously, he's not with the team right now, but I do think that with the production that they've gotten from Alex Verdugo in left field, I think Dominguez could basically do the same, and I think his ceiling is much higher than Verdugo's. Verdugo has a 79 WRC plus this season, so he's 21% worse than the average major league hitter. Public defensive metrics are split on him. Personally, I mean, I've watched every single game. I think he's been better than what the metrics say. I don't think he's in like the Gold Glove conversation, but I do think he's a quality defender, and he's a negative on the base paths. So the Yankees just haven't gotten the level of production that they thought they were getting when they traded for him from the Boston Red Sox this past offseason. So I do think that if the Yankees decided to go with Dominguez in left field, I do think that he has the possibility of being better. And I also just don't think he could be much worse. So in my opinion, I would rather go with someone who has the higher ceiling. And also, you know, if you put Dominguez in the lineup, he's someone who comes with slugging potential. We saw what he did last year when he was up for 8 games before he tore his UCL ligament. So if it was me, if I'm Brian Cashman, I have Dominguez in my lineup today and see what he can do over these next few weeks ahead of October.
So what exactly? So you're hoping if you put Jasson Dominguez in, you're hoping. Then what would you do with Verdugo? You can't get rid of somebody. So essentially, you contradicted yourself. I would say they did the right thing and didn't call him up.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a tough call. He's respected in the clubhouse. I get the clubhouse dynamics aspect. You know, he's someone that Aaron Judge personally advocated for in the offseason as someone who the Yankees should be interested in. So I certainly get the clubhouse dynamics aspect of it. But again, like, Verdugo hasn't been a very quality player this year. And I think Dominguez, you know, again, you don't know until this guy is playing every single day. And the Yankees don't want to bring him up if he's not playing every single day because he hasn't spent much time in AAA this year, coming back from Tommy John surgery, and then he hurt his oblique. in the middle of the year. But again, I think the potential for Dominguez is higher than what you already know with Verdugo. I get it's a tough call for the Yankees. They obviously don't want to do it, at least not right now. And they're giving Verdugo every single opportunity to get hot at the plate. You know, Aaron Boone has said over the past few days he feels like Verdugo is swinging better. His stats, do say that he has had some success, but over the larger sample size, Verdugo just hasn't done much at the plate. And, I do think that Dominguez has the potential of being a much better hitter than Verdugo.
So, Chris, my conspiracy theory is that in a couple weeks, they will make a decision and likely bring up the Martian if he's continuing to crush the baseball and Verdugo continues to struggle. So it's not like he doesn't get to play in the playoffs if that's the case. He's already on the Yankees organization, so he's able to play in the playoffs. I think some people were confused about that. And then also, don't you think some of this, to piggyback what Krat says, has to do with a depth problem? You can't make trades, especially in September, let alone August nowadays, besides the dump deadline. So why not hold on to your guys? You have this big weapon lurking. And sure, you want to win the division, but it's about winning a championship. You can't replace injuries the same way at this time of year. So if someone else goes down and then they had to cut someone like Verdugo or Grisham or whatever, then they would be in a bad spot.
100%. Like, I know a lot of fans are thinking, well, why not just DFA Verdugo or Trent Grisham, who's now buried on the depth chart, or even DJ LeMahieu, who has struggled mightily this season, and it seems like his playing time is just going to be non-existent for the rest of the season at this point. So, like, I get it. Like, depth is very important. The Yankees don't want to lose any of these guys if they don't have to. And, they do have Duke Ellis on the roster, who is a potential pinch runner option for the Yankees in the postseason. The Yankees, typically like having someone like him on their roster in the postseason. So, if it comes time to, make a roster decision, Ellis is probably the likeliest candidate. But I think when John Birdie comes back, who's on a rehab assignment right now, I think Birdie is going to replace Duke Ellis on the roster. So it's going to be a tough call for the Yankees if they, do want to bring Dominguez up in the next couple of weeks, because, everybody on their roster has a stake to claim for being on the 26-man roster right now. Oswaldo Cabrera has options, but he's been playing well and has a lot of versatility in that he can play basically every single infield position, has some experience in the outfield. I think he started the most games for the Yankees in left field last year. So it's going to be a tough call. But the one thing with the Yankees is someone usually finds themselves on the injured list. So, it's definitely a possibility that the decision for the Yankees is made easy if someone ends up getting hurt in these next few weeks.
All right, let me go to, speaking of injuries, let's go to a different guy. I have a question for you, Chris. Which are you more worried about? The Florida Gators defense or Gerrit Cole's calf?
Definitely the Gators defense. I think
good.
Yeah, I think we're a terrible college football program right now. So
yes, thank you.
Hoping for changes in the near future.
Yes. So if you gave your salary to Florida, they could maybe get rid of the coach almost.
He can't open the water bottle, right?
He was the one who couldn't open the water bottle, yes. He's also the one that called all what did he say, the basement people in Central Florida get off the computer. Yeah. I don't know if you know this or not, Billy, but we don't have basements in Florida. Can't have basements in Florida. They go underwater.
Where's he from?
He's from,
not
I
Florida.
think, like Louisiana or somewhere. He's obviously not from Florida.
No.
But anyways, let's get to Gerrit Cole's calf. He came out of the game. I mean, he was pitching a nice game, but are we worried about this? It was just a cramp. I mean, he was doing all kinds of calisthenics out there on the mound to try to get it loose.
Yeah, we spoke to Gerrit after the game, obviously starting pitcher, but said he wasn't super concerned about it. Doesn't seem like it's going to be a big deal. At first, Gerrit's had a couple of injuries or sicknesses that have led to some underperformance this year. He doesn't look the same as he did last year when he won the American League Cy Young Award, but doesn't seem like it's a big deal. He wasn't concerned with it after the game, and Aaron Boone also wasn't concerned about it. So we'll see, but as of now, it doesn't seem to be anything serious.
So where are we at with the bullpen, Chris, in your mind? I mean, does this look like a World Series contending bullpen?
No, to be honest with you, but when you look around the American League, I don't know if any team really has a great bullpen. I would have concerns about the Royals bullpen. The Orioles bullpen may be worse than the Yankees, honestly. So I think for the Yankees, and it really goes into the big picture across MLB, I just don't think there is one singular great team going into October. I think all of these teams have some level of flaw to them. And with the Yankees, I think it's certainly their bullpen. Hopefully they get someone like Clark Schmidt or Luis Gil or even Nestor Cortez into the bullpen who can provide some length, because the Yankees are going to have to make some decisions about who is and who isn't part of their starting rotation. It's expected that Schmidt and Gil rejoin the starting rotation this weekend in Chicago, and the Yankees just usually don't go to a 6-man rotation. So someone is going to lose their starting job. Schmidt has experience. Luis Gil's stuff is incredible, but he has command issues. Nestor has experience in the past out of the bullpen, and he could give them another lefty out of there. They only have Tim Hill as their only left-handed option in the bullpen, who's been really good from the Chicago White Sox, who DFA'd him earlier in the year. But I definitely have concerns about the bullpen. I know every single Yankees fan holds their breath when Clay Holmes enters the game. I think Holmes, from my opinion, and even metrics say that Holmes is a good pitcher. It's just that his profile doesn't scream like we're going to have a clean ninth inning, because he is a pitch to contact guy, and sometimes that could be a problem.
We're looking for real ways to boost our nutrition and just found a protein shake that actually tastes amazing. It's called Orgain, and it's been a game changer.
Orgain is the leader in real protein-powered nutrition that understands that being good for you doesn't have to taste bad. It's the organic ingredients we're looking for, but I don't want a grainy battle with my taste buds every day. You know what I'm saying? It's giving smooth milkshake vibes. That's Orgain, and they have a brand new 30-gram complete protein shake that offers protein-packed real nutrition designed to satisfy your cravings without all the sugar.
It gives me energy, provides muscle support, and helps manage hunger too. It's also made without soy ingredients and made with no artificial flavors or sweeteners.
Orgain 30-gram protein shakes are available at Costco and Orgain.com. If you want to get in on the delicious protein-packed nutrition today, head to Orgain.com/foul and use the code FOUL for 20% off your order. Once again, that's Orgain.com/foul for 20% off. And make sure you use promo code FOUL so they know FT sent you. Yeah, you want strikeouts, especially in the postseason in big situations. So, Chris, let me ask you this. We're going to leave you with this one. And I've had this conversation before, and it fascinates me. Gerrit Cole had an interesting quote on Giancarlo Stanton yesterday, saying he probably ends up with 500-plus home runs, which he should if he finishes out his contract, stays somewhat healthy. Is he a Hall of Famer? Because yes, I know he's got an MVP, but he's really kind of a one-dimensional guy that just kind of hits homers. So is that enough to get him into the Hall of Fame? Because 500 homers forever was the kind of like, oh, you have 500 homers, you're in. Now, I know there's some guys with 500 that aren't in, but for other reasons. So will Giancarlo Stanton go into the Hall of Fame with his 500 homers?
I mean, I think so. He's definitely lost some time, obviously, with injuries over the past several seasons, especially with the Yankees. Like you said, that 500 homer mark has usually been the golden ticket into the Hall of Fame. And the guys who aren't in it, either did steroids and the writers don't feel like they deserve to be in there. I've only covered MLB for 2 years. If I was a voter, I mean, they would have my vote, truthfully. They were some of the best players I saw growing up, and I think they deserve it, truthfully. So, in 8 years, if I'm still covering Major League Baseball and Giancarlo is on the ballot, I think it's, to me, as of now, just looking at his numbers, I think he is one of the best pure power hitters of this generation. And again, that 500 homer mark is definitely something that screams Hall of Famer in my eyes. If you look at his numbers, I think he has over an 800 career OPS, which not many players do. So yeah, and I think when it's all said and done, Giancarlo will probably be in the Hall of Fame. He's probably not a first ballot. It may take him a few years, but in my eyes, I think he is deserving of getting into the Hall of Fame if he eclipses 500.
Hey, real quick at the finish line here, DJ LeMahieu, a lot of fans asking in the chat, do you think he'll ultimately be DFA'd? He's got, 2 more seasons after this year? So they're probably pushing it a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if they end up DFAing him, they would owe him $30 million over the next 2 years, which would be the most amount of money that the Yankees organization would have paid someone to go away. Last year when they DFA'd Aaron Hicks, he was owed 27.6. They cut A-Rod with, I think, 26. Jacoby Ellsbury was around there. So definitely seems like that is the area, and it's only, a couple $1 million more. The one thing I would say with DJ is he is very, very, very respected in the clubhouse, by ownership, by the front office. I think it would be a really tough call. What I think would happen is they'll bring him back in spring, see how he is. Obviously, he's had a couple of foot injuries over the past couple of seasons. Maybe just being further removed from that gets him back to the player that he was. I don't think that's a likely possibility from what I've seen with DJ over the past couple of years. I don't think he is that kind of player anymore, but I would be really surprised if they ended up DFAing him by the end of the year.
Yep, good call. I will say the contract's at least 1 year too long, remember, because he was going for a certain dollar value, and they're like, cool, we'll get there, but we need an extra year on it so we can spread out the average annual value. So I'm like, to me, I look at it as like being 1 year short, right? Like next year is the last year of the deal in terms of what he should have signed for. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's like Trey Turner and some of these guys that signed until they're 95 years old because they stretch out the money for the salary cap. So anyway, Chris, thank you so much. Great to have you on here. Hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate the time. Everyone go check out Chris's articles in The Athletic, and you can look him up on Twitter at Chris, KIRSCHNER. Appreciate you, Chris.
Yep, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. We'll be right back on FT. And before that, we do have a Yankee show, Pinstripe Territory. So make sure you check that out wherever you get your podcast if you're listening right now. And then also you can check out the YouTube show. There's about 10 a week. Get the AM voicemails from our guy Derek, and then post-game after every Yanks game.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.